This world doesn't need a hero. It needs a professional.
The creation of witchers is a complex and intricate process requiring a combination of alchemy, mutagenic changes, and extensive training. While they are not born as witchers, the individuals selected for this path undergo a transformative journey that shapes them into the monster hunters they are. I mean, they go through a complete overhaul of mind, body, and spirit. The sacrifices made and the genetic modifications endured enable witchers to possess unique advantages, which is what allows them to combat the deadliest of creatures in the unnamed continent of the Witcher universe. In this video, we will explore exactly how a Witcher is made, the gruesome and lethal trials they undertake, and everything else around their creation. So, pick up those silver and steel swords and get ready for some serious Witcher action. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The first Witcher. Before we begin to explore how the major Witchers like Geralt or Vesemir were transformed into Witchers, it is important to find out how the first ever Witcher was made. What kind of trials did this Witcher go through? And what kind of herbs and potions did he consume? Well, the first Witcher was introduced in the 2022 show, The Witcher: Blood Origin. The show is based 1200 years before the events of the main show and revolves around a group of 7 legendary warriors who came together to fight the Golden Elven Empire. Amongst these 7, 2 fall in love, although the love remains unexpressed. Sophia Brown as Iali and Lawrence O'Fuarian as Fionn belong to enemy clans, but developed feelings in their struggle against a common enemy. The show's climax demands that one of the 7 must sacrifice themselves to become a monster that would have the power to defeat other monsters. And as you may have guessed by now, this person would have become the first Witcher. Executive producer Declan DeBarra explained that this role was initially kept for Iali, but then there was a change in the plan. You see, Witchers are almost always associated with making sacrifices. They either sacrifice themselves or are sacrificed by someone so that they could become the legendary monster hunters that they are. Naturally, the idea of a lover sacrificing himself to protect his love, his life, his precious, would be an awesome precedent for future Witchers and the way they operated. So, it was Fionn who volunteered to become the first Witcher and spared his love from torment. Respecting the original mythology crafted by author Andrei Sapkowski, the show's creative team couldn't utilize the same cultural background to transform Fionn into a traditional monster hunter. Instead, they conceived the Witcher technology as an ancient empire's remnants, upon which the present-day Witcher practices are built. Fionn was imbued with the blood of monsters, and a ritual similar to the Trial of Grasses was carried out. This gave Fionn the powers of monsters, but unlike mainstream Witchers, he lost his mind. He became a feral beast of sorts. Having said that, it was his love for Iali that did, however, allow him to briefly retain his humanity. But there's more to the story. Well, Fionn and Iali slept together after he was transformed, and their offspring had the Elder Blood. Later, the Elven sorceress and Fionn and Iali's descendant married the Cintran king, which ultimately resulted in the manifestation of the Elder Blood in Ciri. How are these golden-eyed monster hunters made? Are they born? So, from Blood Origin, it becomes clear that Witchers have at least 1200 years of history, and it doesn't take Batman to figure out that Witchers were created during this time. However, the major fault with these early Witchers was that they started their training as adults, and their minds and bodies were not entirely capable of transforming. However, it was later decided that humans would be taken in their youth, because the child's impressionable mind and body would give in easily and adapt to the requirements of being a Witcher. The child first has to make something called the choice. By doing so, he agrees to subject himself to the Witcher training and the subsequent trials. The first of these trials is the Trial of Grasses, which is nothing short of a pain in the grass, as big as the great grass sea of the Dothraki. But what exactly is the Trial of Grasses, which is considered to be the most crucial and most grueling of all tests that a Witcher has to take? This trial involves the administration of herbs that serve to weaken the candidate's body, rendering it susceptible to the virus cultures and mutagens responsible for the Witcher mutations, and the wannabe Witcher's body gets transformed from the inside out. Those who survive receive a host of awesome abilities and strengths, making them superhuman in nature with a super extended life expectancy. Having said that, the trial of the grasses poses immense risks due to its exceptionally dangerous nature. The initial dose of herbs aims to open the body up to mutation, making it vulnerable to the transformative effects that follow. Surviving the trial of grasses requires enduring 7 days of physical transformation while existing in a weakened state. The entire procedure is characterized by excruciating pain, and many fail to survive, so much so that it has a success rate of only 30%. Even if the body manages to survive the trial's debilitating effects, it must endure the actual changes brought about by the mutagens. Additionally, apart from the trial of the grasses, witchers undergo other trials, although these do not induce further mutations. These additional trials encompass a series of assessments and training exercises that impart essential skills such as swordsmanship, survival techniques, and knowledge of herbs, all of which are crucial for combating monsters. On the off chance that the subject survives the trial of grasses but fails the trial itself, meaning he loses his mind, the subject becomes extremely violent. This is close to what happened to Fjoll in Blood Origin, which shows how Fjoll attacked his own party after becoming the prototype witcher. The potions that mutated him were extracted from the blood of an otherworldly monster, and therefore it was quite unstable. Among other Witcher trials, 2 were depicted in the animated film Nightmare of the Wolf. The first of these, or the Trial of the Dreams, forms the second stage of the Witcher trainee's rites and involves a series of vivid hallucinatory visions induced by overseeing druids or mages. These visions serve to further enhance the abilities of the adepts, with notable improvements in their night vision capabilities. However, this trial also brings about the undesirable consequence of rendering the trainees sterile. But after the trial of grasses, becoming sterile sounds like a walk through the park, given that you are not the child-loving kind. Lastly is the Trial of the Forest, referred to by wolf witchers as the Trial of the Medallion or the Trial of the Mountains. It constitutes an examination that assesses the adept's retention of knowledge from previous stages of their training. To successfully complete this trial, prospective witchers of the Wolf School must navigate various deadly and ferocious challenges. In Netflix The Witcher series, during Vesemir's youth, the Trial of the Medallion took place at the Red Swamp. This dense and cursed marshland teemed with evil spirits and creatures, serving both as a cautionary bedtime tale and a trial for young, unmutated wolf trainees. The kids were transported here in an unconscious state and were left to rely solely on the medallions and their wit to survive until morning. And yet other tests include the likes of the Trial of Sword. Where did they get their training? The mainstream witchers were first made as a combined effort of the mages and the kings during the 10th century to fight monstrous enemies. Since regular knights weren't able to eliminate these supernatural bad guys, the Order of Witches began training men who were basically knights who could use magic. But eventually, the mages felt disappointed with these magic-wielding knights and called them witchers, or charlatans, who did little more than witchery. Naturally, the order did not survive for long, but that didn't mean an end to the witchers. The order split into various witcher schools, which, as the name suggests, trained witchers. There were at least 7 such schools, so let's quickly explore each of these. School of the Wolf. The School of the Wolf, once renowned among the Witcher schools, held a prominent status and garnered a reputation for producing skilled and dependable monster slayers. However, the school faced 2 devastating massacres that profoundly impacted its future. In the latter half of the 12th century, an angry mob instigated an assault on Caer Moran, the stronghold of the School of the Wolf, led by a faction comprising mages and priests. The attack resulted in the death of all the witchers present within the keep. Following this, the school never fully recovered from the devastating blow. Later, the School of the Wolf, along with the School of the Cat, received financial support from the monarchs of Kedwen. Student exchanges were arranged, fostering acquaintanceships among some of the older witchers. However, the inherent lack of trust among the students was another blow to both schools. The training of new witcher children at Caer Moran ceased in the 1230s. Knowledge regarding the trials and mage assistance gradually faded over time. By the 1260s, the sole surviving member of the old generation of witchers from the School of the Wolf was Vesemir. He, along with a few younger witchers, continued to spend their winters at the keep. While they welcomed witchers from other schools such as Cohen, witchers and students associated with the schools of the Cat and the Viper were prohibited from entering. However, the early 1270s marked the school's ultimate downfall when it faced attacks from the Salamandra and the Wild Hunt, leading to further decline and near extinction of the School of the Wolf. School of the Cat. The School of the Cat is one of the most controversial of the schools. simply because of its origins rooted in large-scale rebellion of students against their Witcher mentors, and also the way its trainings operate. Unlike other schools, the School of the Cat operates from a mobile base called Din Marv, and in contrast to other schools, the School of the Cat welcomes women and even non-pureblood humans for training. Those trained in the ways of the cat demonstrate remarkable agility and swiftness, employing precise and rapid movements that align with the school's emblem and ethos. However, the school's reputation suffered a blow as a result of its involvement in betraying the School of the Wolf, leading to a growing mistrust. King Radwit II, influenced by his court mage Astrogarus and druids, saw the revival of the Witcher schools as a threat to his rule. Master Trace of the School of the Cat, manipulated by the king, orchestrated a plot against the School of the Wolf during the Witcher tournament. With a group of students under his influence, they ambushed the unsuspecting members of the School of the Wolf. Subsequently, the king ordered his soldiers to destroy the School of the Cat as well. The Cats developed combat styles that emphasize speed, precision, and agility. One notable style, known as Adan Ainye, was devised by an elf named Nisael. Consequently, Cat School Witchers, along with their equipment, prioritize inflicting lethal critical hits over dealing raw damage. Their gear is meticulously designed to enhance flexibility and provide a wide range of motion. Due to the absence of a permanent residence, the Cats conducted their training wherever possible, even within human-populated cities. As part of their training, adept students hone their balancing skills by walking blindfolded on tightropes. Originally, the school was founded upon lofty ideals, aiming to surpass the Witcher Order and gain the respect of the continent's inhabitants. But over time, these ideals were abandoned by later generations of cats. School of the Griffin. The School of the Griffin was established by Elrond of Larvik and his loyal companions, who sought to preserve the original purpose and ideals of the Order. Departing amicably from the weakened remains of the Order, they ventured eastwards to Kaer Seren, a fortress infused with potent air magic, but also haunted by the spirits of failed experiments. Overcoming the lingering spirits, the Griffins established their school, upholding the traditional knightly values of the Witcher Order. Inspired by their former sword teacher, Taliesin Bledin Urath, known as Griffin, they named their school the School of the Griffin in his honor. With the guidance of their head sorcerer, they devised a new discipline that emphasized magic, preparedness, flexibility, and proper etiquette. Additionally, they fostered a strong sense of purpose and camaraderie, with the older members serving as role models for the younger ones. When a trainee perished during their rigorous training, they were accorded a respectful burial in a dedicated graveyard. During their zenith, the Griffin Witchers commanded great respect due to the extent that the school's Grand Master was often summoned to advise rulers in their courts. Similar to the Bear and Wolf schools, the Griffins staunchly adhered to a policy of strict neutrality, refusing involvement in human conflicts. They believed that once a Witcher abandoned their neutrality, there was no turning back. Unfortunately, a faction of mages grew resentful of the Griffins, and as anti-Witcher sentiments escalated, they triggered an avalanche in the act of revenge. This devastating event claimed the lives of several Witchers and destroyed significant portions of Kaer Seren. School of the Bear. The School of the Bear holds the distinction of being the very first Witcher school, originating from the rift within the Witcher Order. The geographical setting of Haren Kaduk shaped a crucial trial that each aspiring Bear Witcher had to carry out. It involved an arduous journey to conquer the summit of Mount Gorgon, a task that tested their mettle in every possible way. Consequently, the graduates of the Bear School became known for their reserved demeanor and brooding nature, which pronounced their professionalism and combat prowess over forging deep fraternal bonds. Unlike their counterparts in the Wolf and Griffin schools, Bear Witchers prefer to serve as absolute lone rangers. This outlook stems from the philosophy of the school's founder, who viewed Witchers as solely dedicated to their trade. He dismissed codes of conduct and chivalry as constructs meant to inflate egos. In fact, this ideology extended even to the internal workings of the school itself. Living in Haren Kaduk posed numerous challenges for the Bear Witchers. The harsh mountainous climate, characterized by biting cold and persistent snowfall, called for huddling near roaring hearth fires and bundling up in layers of furs to ward off frostbite and hypothermia. Additionally, the constant need to clear snow from the fortress courtyard further tested their endurance. As a result, Bear Witchers developed extraordinary stamina and resilience compared to their counterparts from other schools. Distinctive in their choice of armaments, Bear Witchers don heavier armor, prioritizing defense over agility. School of the Viper. The School of the Viper stands as one of the most ruthless Witcher schools in existence, stemming from a splinter group that parted ways with the School of the Bear. It established its headquarters amidst the Tir Tokair Mountains. Within the confines of their keep, Each student at the School of the Viper is entrusted with a pet to nurture throughout their training. Over the years, an emotional bond forms between the Witcher-to-be and their pet. However, as they approach the final stages of their journey to become full-fledged Witchers, they are asked to mercilessly slay their trusted animal companion. The mentors of the Viper School adopt an exceptionally harsh and relentless approach towards their students. This sternness serves to prepare the aspiring Witchers for the unforgiving monsters that await them. The Vipers specialize in the art of wielding small blades, focusing on assassination-oriented modus operandi when confronted with monstrous adversaries. Their combat style encompasses fluid, unpredictable movements executed with their signature fangs or the twin blades. Additionally, the Vipers have mastered a technique that has them land several swift and relentless strikes on the target, which leaves the target overwhelmed and overpowered simply because of the Witcher's intensity. Furthermore, the school frequently uses poison, often coating their blades to enhance their deadly efficiency. Much like the School of the Cat, the Vipers extend their services to include contracts involving humans. School of the Manticore. The School of the Manticore emerged from an unusual event in the desert when Ewan and his fellow Witchers stumbled upon a Zeracanian caravan under attack from two manticores. The Witchers swiftly dispatched the beasts, only to discover that the caravan belonged to Nasira Faison, the court maid to the Zeracanian queen. Impressed by the Witchers' skills, Nasira made them a deal that they could not refuse. She sought their assistance in safely escorting her back to Zeracania in return for an audience with the queen. Upon reaching the capital of Zeracania, the sorceress Nasira recounted their heroic deeds to the queen. Intrigued by their capabilities, the queen extended a proposition of her own. If the Witchers pledged their exclusive allegiance to the crown, safeguarding Zeracanian merchant caravans and emissaries, the kingdom would construct two fortresses dedicated to bolstering the school's presence. Recognizing the opportunity for growth and influence, the Witchers accepted the offer. In the years that followed, Nasira worked closely with Ewan, now known as Imad Assem, in a bid to replicate the intricate mutation process that birthed the Witchers. But Imad possessed partial knowledge and was rather apprehensive of divulging the complete details. Naturally, these experiments yielded inconclusive results, failing to replicate the transformative effects. Nevertheless, the School of the Manticore thrived, at least for a while. Unfortunately, in the fateful autumn of 1146, tragedy befell the School of the Manticore. A grand royal caravan began its journey for the marriage alliance between the Queen's son and the Princess of Metina. Given the magnitude of the occasion, nearly the entire School of Witchers was summoned to safeguard the journey across the desert. However, a fire elemental emerged, posing an overwhelming threat. Despite the presence of a considerable number of Witchers, their lack of siege artillery and inadequate preparations left them vulnerable and ill-equipped to combat such a formidable adversary. The ensuing battle exacted a heavy toll, claiming the lives of numerous Witchers, nearly wiping out the royal family members and decimating a substantial portion of the Zeracanian court, after which the crown gave up on the Witchers, and they eventually perished to nothingness. School of the Crane. The School of the Crane emerged following the Second Conjunction event and was primarily situated on the eastern coast or the adjacent seas. Known for their exceptional versatility in combat, the Witchers of the Crane School exhibit unparalleled proficiency in wielding both swords and early firearms. They hone their skills to become the ultimate guardians against airborne and aquatic monsters, which frequently posed a threat during extensive voyages between Sheridan and Novigrad. To fight the monstrous sea creatures, they equipped themselves with a lengthy rope, securely fastened at one end to the vessel's mast, while the other end was affixed to a close-fitting protective suit that covered almost their entire body. This ingenious arrangement ensured their safety and maneuverability during battle. In less treacherous circumstances, the Crane Witchers opted for minimal armor, preferring the convenience of belts to carry their swords and firearms. What does the Witcher achieve from trials? As I have already discussed, the process of transforming individuals into Witchers involves a complex series of alchemical procedures, the consumption of mutagenic compounds, and intensive physical and magical training. These modifications are aimed at creating powerful and versatile warriors capable of effectively combating a wide variety of supernatural adversaries. One of the prominent consequences of the transformation is sterility, rendering Witchers unable to reproduce and pass on their unique traits. This aspect contributes to their selection from outside populations, as they are not burdened with familial responsibilities. It's something like the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones. If they have no family, they can truly dedicate themselves to the cause of the Wall. Witchers exhibit an unusually heightened libido, which I can't say is unusual. All that monster slaying must take a toll on these guys, and they would require to release all the stress. Their eyes undergo a remarkable transformation, resembling resembling those of cats. This alteration grants witchers extremely acute night vision, enabling them to adjust their pupils to see clearly in both blinding light and near complete darkness. Their enhanced sensory system extends beyond sight, allowing them to identify the species of animals by scent and detect the presence of nearby beings, even when not in the line of sight. Witchers possess an extraordinary resistance to diseases, effectively granting them immunity in most cases, so a flu is probably the least of their concern. But on a more serious note, their immune systems are significantly boosted so that they can safely consume large quantities of potions that would prove fatal to ordinary individuals, even in small doses. The mutagenic changes give the witchers exceptional physical capabilities. Witchers can perform physical feats that mere mortals like us can never hope to match. In addition to their physical enhancements, witchers have a thing with magic. In the Netflix show, as well as the animated content, witchers have performed great feats of magic. The coolest of which, according to me, is when Vesemir melts the frozen lake so that his dying love Ilyana could have a moment of happiness. While their magical potential falls short of that displayed by mages, witchers possess the ability to wield simple yet remarkably versatile combat magic, known as signs. Furthermore, they develop a heightened sixth sense that enables them to feel their surroundings, detecting the importance of objects and discerning people's immediate intentions. Witchers also benefit from accelerated healing abilities, allowing them to recover quickly from injuries sustained during combat or other challenging situations, and this also helps in a prolonged lifespan. Marvelous verdict. The journey from childhood to becoming a fearsome monster hunter is no easy path. So here's the question for you. If given the opportunity, would you choose to become a witcher and face the perils that come with it? If you had to face a fearsome monster, which of the witcher's genetic traits would you find most useful? So, let the adventure continue in the comments section. Share your thoughts, opinions, and questions. Trust me, I would be waiting to hear from you. Until next time, stay brave and keep exploring.